What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 6 of the MoJo MMA Show. I'm your host, Mo, and here's my boy, Joe. And today we're going to recap UFC Singapore, Holloway versus the Korean Zombie. And then we'll go on to make our picks for UFC Fight Night, Gane versus Spivak. All right, Joe. Starting off the show with one of the funnest fights we've seen in a while, huh? Even though I wasn't too happy with the ending. I mean, I guess maybe I was happy with the ending, just the overall ending, maybe not the ending to the fight, but yeah, that was fun.
You talking about Max Holloway and Korean Zombie?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, you want to start there?
Oh yeah.
What did you didn't like the stoppage or what? Or you just didn't like how it ended?
I didn't like how it ended. But it was so beautiful about it is he went down swinging. Like that motherfucker. Like this is why he was one of my favorite fighters of all time. The Korean Zombie, every time he came to fight, that motherfucker came to fight. He was not going in there half-assed. He was not going in there, to have a boring fight to try to squeeze himself to victory. He was always out there to win, no matter what. And he had some moments in that fight, especially in the first round.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised. He looked just as good as he always has. I mean, he honestly didn't need to retire. He just the level of competition at the very, very top that he's been fighting is just it's hard to look good against Volkanovski, Ortega, Holloway. Those guys are just levels of
Rodriguez.
like the top tier. Yeah, those guys are all just so good. But I mean, he's in there still. It sucks to see him go. But I mean, it was honestly, I hated the matchup of him and Holloway, but at the same time, it made sense, I guess. Not really, because he was like number 9 and Holloway's like 1. But I mean, for him to go out there in the start of round 3 and lay everything on the line, whether he gets knocked out or he gets the knockout, and Max Holloway even said if he would have landed his last punch or before my punch, it could have been different. And it was honestly, it was like the coolest way that I think that fight could have ended.
I think these punches from the Korean Zombie were like the hardest I've ever seen Max get hit. And because he was landing, when we break down this fight, I think we were both thinking, oh man, Max Holloway's going to go out there and outclass this old man, be too quick, land, and get out before he got hit. But the Korean Zombie was getting his own. He was landing. Holloway was definitely landing more, but man, the Korean Zombie looked like he had a chance in there.
Yeah, his antics and everything in there, like smiling and stuff and talking and telling him, bring it, let's go. That honestly got me so excited. That fight was so fun to watch.
Yeah, and I got to see him walk out into the sunset, even if it's not a victory. It's still a great way to go out, When did they ever have walks like songs like the way they did, sending him back out, back to the locker room? It was beautiful.
It almost brought a tear to my eye.
All right, next we have, I didn't think it was controversial, but a lot of people were saying that Anthony Smith's win over Ryan Spann wasn't deserved. What do you think?
I don't think it was controversial at all. Everyone just sees that Spann almost got the knockout in round 2. And if you remember my bet, I had Smith by finish round 1 and Spann by finish round 2. So either or. And Smith literally almost finished Spann round 1, and then Spann almost finished Smith round 2. That pissed me off. But anyways, Smith won the first round very clearly. Spann very clearly won the second round. The third round was up for grabs. Neither guy really did a whole lot to really cement the win. So I don't think it was a robbery like whatsoever. It wasn't a robbery at all.
Right, that's exactly how I felt. That's it. The way the fight went is just that's exactly what I saw. Yeah. All right, next one we have Giga Chikadze versus Bruce Leroy Caceres. I think that fight was pretty fun. What do you think?
Yeah, it was fun. I was honestly surprised Caceres was able to get off some good shots against Giga, because Giga at one point was looking like the guy to beat Max Holloway and possibly fight Volk. And then he went out there and fought Caceres, and Caceres has been doing really good his last 10 fights. But he just kind of got outpointed by Giga. The power of Giga was a little too much for him, I think.
Right. I definitely saw this fight being a close fight, but not as close as it was. I felt like
Yeah,
Caceres was, getting in there, landing a lot more, and he was quick. He just looked really good in there against a fucking world class fighter in Giga.
yeah.
All right, next fight. I think I have a new favorite prospect in Rinya Nakamura. This guy is like maybe the next Korean Zombie. This motherfucker, as soon as the bell rings, he comes into fight. He's going for the finish the entire time, and that was definitely a fun one to watch.
Yeah, this little bastard goes in there and he freaking since he I don't know if he came on the Contender Series, I'm not sure. But every fight he's had, round one, comes out there and just lays it all out and gets the knockout, gets a submission, takes him down, slant. He's super excited, and then goes out there and I don't know what the hell he's doing against this guy. He goes out there and he totally switches up his game plan. He could have won that fight however he wanted, but I mean he decided to go 3 rounds. I honestly thought he was gonna get a first round. I thought it'd be a first round KO or submission, but he's still very good, very talented.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's so awesome to watch. I hope they build him up the way they're supposed to, and not just throw him against a fucking, another freight train. All right, last fight I want to cover on this card. Junior Tafa knocks out Parker Porter in the first round. That was fun too.
Yeah, that was my favorite pick of the whole fight card, and the most I guess I've seen a lot of people saying that Parker Porter's wrestling, Parker Porter this. I was, what the hell are you talking about? He's fighting Junior Tafa. If you watch Junior Tafa's striking, it's elite. There was no chance for him in that fight, and he went out there and proved it.
You're gonna call out who you're talking about?
What are you talking about?
No one specific?
Oh no.
I could think of one. Anyways, yeah, that was good. I mean, Junior Tafa just went in there. They both look like they went in there to bang. I think Parker did try to wrestle a little bit, but I mean, the way this fight went was how I pictured it. Parker Porter's just one of those guys that you put in there to build guys up.
Yeah.
All right, now we get to UFC Fight Night, Gane versus Spivak. Do you know where this one's going to be? Because I did not check.
France.
Oh, it is. Duh, idiot. Yes, of course. Yeah, it is going to be UFC France. And that's why we have another special start time. This one's going to start at 2 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. Well, the main card starts at 2. But that's compared to what we had to go through last week. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I was still half asleep watching all those fights.
But, honestly, oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go.
I was gonna say the early fights honestly are kind of cool for once because I was just sitting there drinking coffee, watching the fights. It was kind of weird. I don't know how other people do it, but it was fun.
Yeah, go in there watching instead of a claw in your hand, you have a fucking energy drink or a fucking coffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get to the first fight on this main card. Morgan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I want to hear their name.
Yeah. I'm gonna be so honest. I have no idea how to say 1, 2, 3. 3 of these guys' names. I'm gonna fucking try my best. All right, ready? Well, hold on. Let me see where this guy's from, and then I'll be able to throw some. Oh, he is from France, and the other guy is from Italy. Oh, okay. It shouldn't be too hard. You ready? All right. Kicking off the main card, we have Morgan Chaliel versus Manolo Zaccini. That's pretty good if you ask me, buddy. All right, looking at this fight. Oh, shit. Damn. Hold on, bring me back. All right. Looking at this fight and looking at the odds were kind of crazy to me. Because if you look at this fight, it's a minus 355 for the Frenchman to a plus 280 for the Italian. And then when you look at both of these guys' fights, you have Morgan coming in 18-9, 2-1 record. For every 2 wins he gets, he has a loss plus a draw, and it's just like, damn, that does not look impressive at all. And then you go back and look at his last fights, he has 2 TKOs in a row, and then a split decision before that. And then before that, he has a decision loss, 2 decision losses in a row. But you look at where he's fighting out of Cage Warriors, I guess maybe that's where the odds makers are bringing in, this huge favorite because he's fighting tougher level competition. But when you look at these guys, 18-9-1 and 11-3. Granted, Manolo is fighting out of Italy and has only fought in Italian promotions. He did go to Cage Warriors once and get TKO'd, and then he went back to fighting in Italy. But looking at this fight, I'm honestly leaning towards Manolo, with just considering the odds and just considering what these guys have been through. If this guy's gonna build himself up, which 11-3 is not a terrible record to start from, but 18-9, that's how like your career is already deep into it, and you know what your path is gonna be. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Manolo.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with him as well because I can tell you, I don't know much about either of these guys, to be honest.
All right, next one. I'll let you bring this next fight in.
So this next fight, I looked into.
What's the next fight?
William Gomez versus Giannis Gamori. I guess that's how you say his name. He's new, so the Lucas Almeida fight, I was super excited for that because both those guys are going to stand up and strike. And Lucas Almeida was a dog, but that fight fell out, and now we got this new up and coming guy who I know nothing about. But what I do know about William Gomez is he's fought, I think, 2 times in the UFC, right? 2 times. I know he fought Francis Marshall in his last fight, and he put on just a flawless striking clinic, pretty much. It wasn't super one-sided. I mean, it was just him. He has really good movement. He has really good in and out and side-to-side movement. He's really good at range management or distance management. And he's kind of a lengthy guy. So I mean, my original pick was going to be Gomez against Almeida. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with Gomez because he's fighting this new guy I don't know anything about. But William Gomez, his movement, his striking on the feet is really good. He has really good takedown defense. He has decent wrestling. He has everything it takes to make this a good fight. As long as Giannis Gamori is not a super talented wrestler, I could see this one going the distance. I actually don't know. I wouldn't say go the distance, but I could see William Gomez getting the win in this one for sure.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, when you look at this fight, you have William Gomez 12-2 versus Giannis 12-1, and yeah, I mean these are two careers coming together, and only one of them's gonna come out with a good path. Williams on a 10-fight win streak, and his last loss, believe it or not, was to Morgan, the fight before this. And so if that says anything more, it adds more confidence that I have in Morgan. But yeah, huge 10 fights in a row, 2 of them in the UFC, 1 versus Francis Marshall, who's a pretty good fighter. And then we have over here 9 fights in a row.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, exactly. 10 versus 9 in a row, 1 KO, a TKO before that. But yeah, these are 2 guys, that have a lot of hype behind them. And yeah, when you look at the odds for this one is a minus 250 for William Gomez. Oh, I had this way messed up. My apologies. And it's a plus 205 for Giannis. Giannis is a pretty big underdog. Yeah. But yeah, when you look at this fight, Giannis looks pretty well rounded, but I am going to go with the favorite, William, here, the Jaguar Gomez. All right, Thank you. Next fight on the card. I want to see where you're leaning on this one. We have Volkan No Time Oezdemir versus Bogdan Guskov. There you go. Bogdan Guskov. All right, I want to see where you're leaning on this one first.
So Volkan Oezdemir, his last fight was let me look real quick.
Nikita Krylov.
Nikita Krylov, okay. I was thinking Paul Craig was his last fight. Okay, so Nikita Krylov, he comes out against Nikita Krylov and he lays it all out in the first round and tries to knock Nikita Krylov out. Nikita Krylov's on a pretty good run right now. So I mean it was a close fight, but wrestling, Oezdemir does not do good against wrestlers. Striking though, he's a very good striker. He's very well rounded. He's established himself in the UFC. He's proved that he can fight most of the top guys, not win all the top fights though. And this new guy, Bogdan Guskov, all I had to go off of him was YouTube videos of his fights because all of his fights are like underground looking fights, like some crazy weird promotions. I honestly don't even know where they found the guy. But watching his fights, he literally every single person he touches, you could say that he's fought trash cans and all that, this and that, tomato cans, whatever. But I mean, the ability to knock someone out with a jab or a one punch power, that's power. And Bogdan has that power. And Uzdemir, he's been knocked out before. I don't know how many times he's been knocked out in the UFC. Yuri Prochazka. Yeah, Prochazka, he's been knocked out by Prochazka.
Oh, I guess you can count DC's TKO when he had him in the crucifix.
Yeah, gosh, it's so hard because he's been like to the distance with all these great fighters, but he's still young too. I thought he was like in his I thought he was late 30s. He's only 33.
It's the hair loss.
Yeah, this fight was hard for me to pick, but I'm gonna go with the underdog here, Bogdan, just because of his power in his hands. And if you're taking this guy, I'm telling you right now, if you're taking Bogdan, this Guskov guy, if you're taking him first round knockout for sure. No doubt, nothing else. Volkan Uzdemir, he's not going to, I don't see him going out there wrestling. So these guys are going to, one of them's getting knocked out in the first round. This fight, I do not see this fight going to the second round. Because this Bogdan, I think he's going to go out there, I mean, based off his history, he's going to go out there and knock him out in the first round. Most of his fights have ended in the first round, so I'm taking him first round knockout.
Yeah, smart play. And I'll tell you where they got this guy from. He's coming off 2 knockouts in the first round within 30 seconds. And his last 4 fights, they're all first round knockouts. Before that, he got TKO'd in the first round. But then you go before that, and he's just knockout submission. He has a 100% finish rate. He has 14 wins, 12 knockouts, 2 submissions. He has that 1 TKO loss and also 1 decision loss. But man, this guy has absolute fucking dynamite in his hands. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're, amazing fighters or not that he's fighting. Like, if you get touched, you're going to sleep. But yeah, absolutely. I've always, I was high on Volkov, but I went back and when I was rewatching his fights and looking at his resume, it wasn't that impressive. I really remember when it was time for him to fight DC, I was like, yeah, this is deserved. But looking back on it, all he did was have a split decision versus OSP, knocked out Misha Serkinov and knocked out Jimmy Manuwa. I guess maybe because I really liked Jamie Manuwa at the time. But after that, lost to DC, lost to Anthony Smith, lost to Dominic Reyes, knocked out Ilir Latifi, and this guy's nickname is No Time. But that last knockout he got was August 10th, 2019. After that, decision split, knockout, decision. This is I get he's fighting the top guys. Like, none of these guys I named here are less than top 10 material. All these guys are phenomenal fighters. But yeah, absolutely, I'm taking Bogdan. This guy is seems legit, has a shit ton of power in his hands, and I'm rocking with him.
Yeah, did you watch any of his highlights or his film?
Yeah,
he's kind of a bully. You see him, he knocks the guys out and he stands over him. He starts doing all this stuff. Honestly, when I saw him do that, I was like, man, I hope Volkan knocks him out. But then I was watching him, I was like, man, this guy, he touches people, it was like you have like power where you could hit people and then follow up and get the TKO. This guy was punching people one shot and everyone was dead on the floor. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see how the hell this one goes. I guarantee this one does not go past the first round.
Yeah, I know. I feel like this one could be a knockout either way. So first round knockout is going to be a good play.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, next fight we have on the card. It's a fucking good one. It's a good one. Benoit Saint Denis versus Thiago Moises. This one's going to be a fucking good fight. Thiago's such a veteran coming into this one. 17-6. Not a terrible record versus Benoit Saint Denis, who just derailed the Ismael Bonfim train. Huge first round submission, and I'm excited for this one. Where are you leaning on it?
So I was watching I was looking back at their last previous fights. Thiago Moises, on paper, whenever I saw this fight and I saw he was an underdog, I almost put my bets in right then and there. I was like, damn, they have him as the underdog just because this new guy's come up and coming. He's got a lot of hype and he just beat Ishmael Bonfim. And then I went back and I watched and I was like, damn, Bonfim, or not Bon, but Saint Denis, he can take a hit and he can give a hit and he can wrestle. He can do it all. Thiago Moises is a clean, straight puncher, clean striker. He's kind of like RDA, except not as good. He's just good in everything. He's really good at jiu-jitsu, really good jiu-jitsu. Not super powerful, but he's durable. But Benoit Saint Denis is a dog, and I don't see this fight going I don't want to say I don't see it going the distance, but I don't see a way where Thiago Moises wins this fight, just because Benoit Saint Denis is so powerful. He's powerful. He's a dog, but he does throw a lot of looping punches, like super crazy punches, which I don't know if that'll hurt him or help him against Thiago Moises. I'm taking Benoit Saint Denis in this one for sure, though. I don't know. I don't know if he gets it done inside the distance, but this one's gonna be a hard one. But I'm taking Benoit Saint Denis on this one.
Right. When I look at this fight, I see two good fighters, but I see one that's better. I definitely think Benoit Saint Denis, coming off these three fights, he's looked really good in them. It's not just wins, it's who he's beating and how he's beating them, Submission with the face crank like that, that just lets you know the grip this guy has, the strength in his arms and hands, forearms, everything, to be able to finish a face crank in the UFC versus someone with immense height behind. And Thiago Moises, like you said, he's a good fighter. It's going to be a very interesting one, but yeah, I'm definitely going to take Benoit Saint Denis. I do like his number at he's sitting at a minus 162 right now, which is not a bad play. I don't know, like you said, I don't know how this fight's going to end, but I definitely see Benoit Saint Denis taking the W home.
Yeah, I would say don't bet on submission, but I mean, inside the distance, I think Benoit Saint Denis can get it done with a knockout. But Thiago Moises is durable. I don't know. I don't see him submitting him, though. Moises is really good on the ground, so we'll see.
All right, next fight. Honestly, the more I sit on this fight, the more unsure I am. But we have Manon for... Excuse me. We have Manon. What's her name? Furio?
Fiore?
I think
Fiore?
it's Fiore. That's what it is. Manon Fiore versus Rose Namajunas. Man, honestly, coming into this fight, just reading the names, I was like, oh, I have Manon all the way, 100%. But the more I think about it, it's like, just because of what Rose has done, she beat Zhang Weili twice going into that Carla rematch, and I don't know what happened to her. But if she can come out, I think this fight just depends on if she's going to come out as the Rose that beat Zhang Weili or the Rose that fought Carla Esparza. Manon does have a lot of hype, but if you look at her strength to schedule, it's just she's beaten everyone that everyone else at the top has beaten, Yeah. So it's not like, so she's proven that she belongs at the top, but we don't know for sure what level she's at. And we know where Rose is. We just don't need to know which one's going to show up. So with my pick, I am still going to take Manon.
You fucker.
The more I think about it, I do want to lean more towards Rose just because
Take Rose.
I don't want to.
She's
I don't
the
like
best.
I hate Rose.
He's the best.
Don't you love Rose? Rose is one of my least favorite fighters ever in the UFC. And this is before this last Carla fight. This is back when she was fighting Joanna for the first time. This is before even that. I've never liked Rose Namajunas. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, she is the best, so like you said, unlike you said, Fiora, her strength of schedule coming into the UFC is actually pretty crazy. She beat Mayra Bueno Silva, who has, I think, the most submission wins in the UFC women's division, flyweight division. She beat. She's the only girl to to take Tabitha Ricci's Tabitha Ricci. She KO'd her in the second round. So she's had those 2 fights. She's had, let's see, Victoria Luna, not good. So I mean, her first 2 fights, and Caitlin Chukagian, she decision Caitlin Chukagian, Jennifer Maia.
Everyone beats Jennifer Maia. Everyone beats Caitlin Chukagian.
No one beats Tabitha Ricci.
It was her debut.
Myra Bueno Silva too.
That one's a good one. That one's a good one.
A terrible matchup for someone so new. Myra Bueno Silva is good, and she dominated her. I mean, and you look at Rose, her last fight. I don't even want to talk about her last fight. I'm taking Fiora in this fight for sure, especially because Rose is moving up a weight division, so she's fighting a bigger girl. She was able to bully Zhang Weili a little bit, but Zhang Weili is not a flyweight. She's not as big as these girls, and this girl, I think, is gonna put her in her place. I think she's gonna have a rude awakening. Oh, whoops! I think she's gonna. This one was hard to pick because how good Rose looked in her last fight. I mean, the Carla Esparza fight. I definitely had to think about this one, but I had to go with Fiora for sure.
Good pick. My mic's on, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now we have the main event. Honestly, even on this one, I'm still conflicted. I thought I had a choice looking into it, but the more I think about it, man, it gets me. We have Sergey the Polar Bear Spivak versus Cyril Gane Bongamin. Who are you taking in this one? I mean, this one's such a good heavyweight matchup. I like this matchup. I think it's definitely gonna be a fun matchup. But yeah, which way are you leaning?
I'll sway your opinion. So Cyril Gane, everyone talks about Cyril Gane being the fastest, best mobile heavyweight ever. Talk about how he can move in and out real good. He has clean striking. Wrestling defense, not really. He got taken down by Francis Ngannou with no knees. He got taken down by John Jones in 5 seconds. I mean, this guy, he looked to be the best fighter in the UFC heavyweight division to date, up until he met Francis Ngannou and he got exposed with his wrestling. And what is Sergey good at? Sergey Spivak is good at wrestling. He's good at submissions. He's good at jiu-jitsu. His trips are good. He hip tossed Derek Lewis. 300-pound Derek Lewis. Go back and watch his last fight against Derek Lewis. He brought him off of his feet. And if you think that he's not going to do that against Cyril Gane, you're crazy. Especially because Cyril Gane does that. He does that jumping like front. He kind of lunges a lot. When he comes in and out. Everyone talks about his movement, but he does a lot of in and out movements. It's forward movements. He's not. People were talking about like Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling, like how Sean O'Malley was able to move side to side and mitigate Sterling's wrestling. Well, Cyril Gane moves in and out best. He doesn't move left and right. He moves left and right good. He moves in and out and he strikes really well. But he also has a really wide stance and he lunges into his punches a lot. He keeps his hands low, and I think that he's going to get caught by one of Sergey's trips coming in, and I think he's just gonna drag out I think the fight might go 5 rounds. I may be wrong, but I think that this fight, Spivak being the underdog, I think that this is gonna be a good underdog pick right here, Spivak, especially because of to be able to hip toss Derek Lewis. That was honestly one of the main points that one of my main things about picking him. I went back and rewatched some of Cyril Gane's fights, and he's an amazing striker. As long as this fight stays on the feet, he's winning the fight. But on the ground, he's not beating him. And I think this fight's going to go on the ground because it's 5 minutes. And if Cyril Gane doesn't turn it on super early, which he doesn't really ever turn it on super early, he normally drags it out to the later rounds and gets a finish. So, yeah, for that reason, I'm taking Spivak.
Yeah, you want to hear something absolutely fucking disgusting? We have the exact same pick for the entire fucking main card. Oh my god.
Uh,
So what? Let me tell you what was swaying me towards Cyril Gane. You look at his fucking run to the top.
uh-huh.
Fucking amazing, bro. Amazing. Let's just start at Dontel Mays. A motherfucker trains with John Jones, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he's like a iffy fighter, but he went in there, did what he had to do. Then he beat Tanner Bozier, who's also one of those in and out. And then bam, he takes a step up. JDS, older JDS, okay, maybe not that good. Bam, Jorginho Rosenstrike, who was fucking on top of the world back then. After that, boom, Alexander Volkov, one of the best strikers in the heavyweight division. And then boom, after that, Derek Lewis, which, who knows? He went on a fat losing streak. Maybe he wasn't where he needed to be, whatever. And then he runs into Francis Ngannou. And then he comes back with the fight versus Tai Tuivasa. That fight was fucking amazing. What a fun fucking fight that was, because it was, back and forth. Cyril got hurt, and then it ended up being a finish, which was pretty cool. Then he runs into the greatest fighter that's ever lived, Johnny Bones Jones, and the rest is history. But yeah, looking at this fight, I'm absolutely going to take Sergey Spivak. Like you said, all he needs is one. Take him to the ground one time, because Cyril's already been exposed. I guess he's been working on his wrestling, and I mean, shit, that's all he needs to do since he's a world-class kickboxer, right? But yeah, I'm going with Sergey Spivak. The only notable win he really has is going to be, I guess Alexei Oleinik, but then besides that, it's actually he beat Tai Tuivasa.
After Sakai, Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy was a good.
Sakai's trash. Greg Hardy's trash.
Yeah, I'm just
Greg Hardy's working at Walmart. Okay, but
another thing, Cyril Gane's been working on his takedown defense, but have you seen Spivak's his figure lately?
No.
He's looking in excellent shape. He looks in great shape compared to when he first started in the UFC. He's a total different person. He's a very good physique now.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a fun main event.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, whichever way it goes, it's going to be a fun main event. All right, Joe, that wraps up UFC Gane versus Spivak. And this is the last fucking week we have to wait before Sean Strickland becomes the middleweight champ of the world.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh. Nothing would make me happier than to see Sean Strickland. I don't even care about Sean Strickland. I don't even care about Adesanya, but I mean, actually I do care because I hate him with all my life. But if Sean Strickland, out of everyone that he's fought, was to be the one to take the title from him, that'd be the single most amazing thing I've ever seen.
I'd try.
Oh man, there's a couple. I mean, this whole card is fucking insane. Tuivasa Volkov, Manel Kape versus Felipe Dos Santos, Justin Taffa, Austin Lane, Tyson Pedro's on this card. Carlos Ulberg is on this fight. Nasrat Haqparast is fighting Landon Quiones, my least favorite tough house guest of all time. Jack Jenkins is on this fucking card. Jamie Malarkey's on this fucking card versus John McDessie. Oh my god. Oh.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
Looking at the odds for these upcoming fights, Volkov is the favorite versus Tuivasa was one of my biggest ones, and then there was one other one. Dontel
Mays is not.
Not Dontel. What's his name? Gosh dang it, I had it in my head. Give me a second. Let me look at it again. There's another favorite. Austin Lane, Justin Taffa. Austin Lane is the underdog in that fight.
Ooh, I like Austin Lane too.
I think those are two really crazy odds.
I am fucking excited. What a fucking card that is going to be. But we still have one more week to get through, and that's this fight in France. I'm excited for it. All right, Joe. It's been another fun podcast. This one didn't last as long. I don't think. Maybe it did. I don't know. But we'll catch y'all next week after the fights.